rappers. You guys are excited, aren't you? I'd love you to put your hands together and give a very, very, very warm welcome from the band Judas Priest to Rob, Halford, and Richie Faulkner.
Yeah, this is good. It's
it'll go lower.
It's Slipping and Sliding, which is an old Little Richard song from 1957. There you go. Hi everybody. This is a lot of fun. Are you as nervous as we are? Because we haven't done a gig since. What was the last gig we did?
I think it was almost 2 years ago. We were just listening to the songs in the van thinking, don't forget.
So you know these songs better than we do. Interesting. I can't wait to see this on YouTube. Oh, Halford dropped another bollock, you know. But no, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and we're excited to be here. We've never been involved with the rock and roll fantasy camp before. We know a lot about it, and it's very special, isn't it? In many ways. But the main point of being today is to do something hopefully memorable. Metal memories will be lingering around long after this day's complete, and you're going to take home a lot of good vibes. And you know, for you aspiring musicians, this could be another hopefully kick in the right direction. And so there you go.
Okay. So, you know, you've got, obviously, you can see you've got a lot of very devout fans here in front of you. And they do have a lot of
Yes, Bruce.
Thank you.
Last time I saw Bruce, we were doing a Christmas song with Alice in Phoenix. What was that song we were doing? I don't know what it was.
Something with a lot of confetti coming.
Yeah, it was a lot of confetti. I ended up looking like a snow cone with 6 inches of confetti. You know, you couldn't see Alice at all. He was like the abominable snowman. It was good to see you again. It was a fun night.
You, and that was very intimidating. You were amazing, amazing.
We had a good time.
It's great.
We always have
with
a
the
good
Alice
time.
Cooper band.
That's the main thing about this. It's enjoying it, and you know, don't feel as though it's not a pressure gig. Because if you was, we wouldn't be here. It's all about fun. It's all about fun. I think that's a great thing for Judas Priest, is that we've been making metal now. This is our 40th anniversary this year. It's our 40th anniversary this year. These things creep up. When you're always doing a bit of Priest research, and I looked at Rock-a-Roller with a horrible cover, and at 1974 we made that record. So 40 years later, we're all together. You know, some of us have been with Priest for as long as that, and so it's remarkable. It really is. But along the way, as much as it's been very hard work, we've always made sure that we've had a good time and we've had as much fun as we can. And you know, that's the blessing of it.
Yeah. And you know, I wanted to just ask you a couple of questions. We're going to just keep this part of it brief so that you can answer some questions from our guys here. But you know, going back to those early days, I mean, of course, you're from the West Midlands. I know, Richie, you're from North London, which is an excellent place to come from, because that's where I'm from as well. And but there was some of the legendary classic bands have come out of the West Midlands. Obviously, you know, Black Sabbath and Artie and even lesser known bands like Magnum. There's been a fantastic movement. What was going on back then that you think sparked or inspired you in those early days?
I think for a lot of us, I think this is synonymous with a lot of music, but particularly with metal. I mean, we're all working class guys. We came from families. My dad worked in a steel factory, so I did Glens, and so there's the roots of it are very much in, you know, blue collar, you know, almost like Springsteen type of vibe. And so you're in that surrounding, and I think that kind of, when you're breathing in that kind of life. I mean, I used to walk to school like 2 or 3 miles a day past the metal foundries. I could actually see the molten metal coming out into the, you know, where they make the ingots and stuff, and hear the steam hammers. When I was at school, the desks would shake because of the steam hammers in the building next to the class. So that was even before heavy metal was invented. So you know, that's just part of, I think, the bare elements of becoming a musician. And Birmingham at that time was a pretty bleak place. There was a lot of, talking through the late 60s, early 70s, there was a lot of struggle going on, particularly in the government, and work miners were going on strike and all these kinds of things. They all kind of play a part in building your temperament and your character as a musician. But you're in the company of other musicians, like, as you point out, Priest and Sabbath were neighbours, we grew up together, practically. And I think it all starts at any given point when the music kind of really takes over you as a person. It's one thing to listen to music and go and see a band, but there's a day that comes when you want to hold a mic or pick up a drumstick or pick up a guitar. It just happens. You've got no control over it. It's the power of music. So all of that was going on in the Midlands, and it is pretty much across the board, because I mean, you know, you've got Electric Light Orchestra from the Midlands, Duran Duran from the Midlands, Dexys Midnight Runners, there's probably a bunch of others, plenty, you know, some of the Zeppelin boys. But I think that the struggle of wanting to break out of your town, step out of the boundaries, you know, even for us to go down to London, we used to call it the Smoke, we're going up the Smoke to play those early days at the Marquee, was a massive step out of your comfort zone, if you will, because everybody speaks in a different accent, you know, and it's just a different life down there. We still say down to London. But it's the challenge of wanting to escape some things, because that's what music is about. It's always about the fantasy of what music creates for us. You know, when we start playing our music, the fantasy takes over, we become different people in a wonderful way. So I think those are some of the elements that made Priest and made metal and made all of those other bands in the Midlands at the time.
So there was a bit of a sense of escaping or you know, finding an outlet, as well as from the kind of industrial surroundings that you were in at the time. And what about musically? I mean, what were the bands that you listened to? What was the music that you loved?
Go on, Richie, because you know, once I start flapping my lips, you can't shut me up.
I'm sitting here and listening to these interviews with these guys. It's just, I love sitting here listening to them talk and tell stories, you know. I mean, I listen to you lot. And so, you know, it's more interesting to hear about what you heard, you know, back in the day, really, for me anyway. How about a gig? I was going to say, yeah, we know that by now. So, I was busking down in London and they put a few quarters in there, you know. But I mean, growing up for me, I mean, I'm sure as everyone here, it's the same, you know, Priest and Sabbath and Maiden and, you know, those sort of things. And, you know, the people in the room, again, there's people over the back there which I'm, you know, stoked to see and stuff, you know. So those guys, these guys, and it's just a continuing circle, isn't it? I mean, all these guys here, every one of you, are influenced the same way I was, and you know, we're all influenced by something, whether it was the Steelworks or the Steelworks. You know, we're all kind of influenced by the same kind of thing. So,
you know, at the beginning, the late 70s, beginning of the 80s, there was a bit of a movement coming out of Britain again, where like heavy rock and heavy metal and everything was always undercurrent. It's either undercurrent or it's current, but it's always there. And it started to sort of come to the surface again, but you had always had a huge success in the United States as well. And whereas in Britain it would sort of disappear from the public, but it was always still there, but it was very much undercurrent. And so when you came, when you had this success over here in America, how did you sort of see that? Why do you think there was such a great reception here in the States to that kind of music?
I think because it was a new style, it was a new experience in metal. When bands like Priest and Sabbath began. We didn't really have any other metal bands to kind of